Mr. Transformers 96 here for another video where we talk about a newly shown Hot Toys figure, and this time we have the Green Goblin from Spider-Man No Way Home. So very excited to get our first villain from the film. Obviously the film features several villains, and some of them with different costumes. It kind of changes throughout the film, including this character. So very excited and really hoping that we're going to get a ton of different Hot Toys figures, villain-wise, from No Way Home. But here's the start. We've got Goblin here. I talked a little bit about this when it was kind of revealed on a magazine just about a few days ago, but now we have the official images, the pre-order information, so a lot to talk about. So of course, just to start off with, they went with the kind of 2002 design for Goblin, which I don't think was anybody's top choice, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, like, I'd love to have a 2002 Goblin design in my collection, but when it comes to No Way Home, I was really hoping for one of his more No Way Home specific looks. So there is still a chance that they are going to do one. I've saw another video where apparently there's a rumor that there will be one revealed next month, but who knows if that's true, the validity of that. However, from what we have right now, at least, I am pretty happy with it. I do think that it looks like a very solid figure. So let's talk about it. Obviously, the design, metallic green design color scheme going on. He basically has a spandex suit with armor printed on top of it, and then on top of that, armor actual pieces that have been kind of glued onto it. So you have like basically two layers. You've got the initial spandex, you've got the layer of printing over that material, and then you have the physical armor pieces on top of that. So there's kind of the layering going on in the costume. With the fact that the bottom section is like a spandex material, articulation should be very good, especially in the legs, since there's not a whole lot of armor pieces. It's just all on the front section, basically. The torso, there's a little bit more armor sections, and even the shoulders and things, so that might get a little hairy articulation-wise, but legs should be pretty good, and that's important when you have a figure that needs to interact with the glider. The overall sculpt and design of the helmet, I think, does look quite excellent. As you can see there, a lot of detailing, a lot of layering going on as well. You can see you have kind of the speckled damage almost, or at least it has a bit of a worn feel to it, but it's on such a shiny and metallic armor that it still has a pretty crisp look. The eyes themselves look fantastic. Love the kind of really shiny metallic gold effect. And then in the mouth section, you do have a mesh area with William Dafoe's mouth behind it, so I really like that. That's something that, you know, in certain shots of the film, you could see his mouth within the mouth of the helmet, and that's something that the figure represents here, which is very nice. Although this is Hot Toys' first Goblin figure, or Green Goblin figure, it is not the first 1/6 scale version of this character. There was a third-party unlicensed version from Toy Era. They called that figure the Fiend. So that figure is, you know, something that I think a lot of people are going to compare based off of this. I personally did not get it when it was originally released. I got Dr. Octopus because the two of them were like released at the same time. So I chose him over Green Goblin. Octopus was so good though that I did end up pre-ordering the Fiend recently on their second batch. So I had it on pre-order at the time that this figure was shown. I just did not expect Hot Toys to actually make this design of the suit for the fact that, you know, he's only in the movie like this for literally 3 seconds. So I figured I'd get the Toys Era version to get that representation, and then get, you know, the Hot Toys version that they, you know, in my head that they would do one of the new ones. So since that wasn't the case, I did go and I actually canceled my pre-order of that third-party figure. What was funny is with the cancellation, I was asked by the company I ordered it from why I wanted to cancel it, because apparently they had received a lot of requests for the same thing, you know, just that day. So yeah, I had to explain that an official version is actually being released. So I thought that was kind of amusing there. But as you can see, here's our best shot at the head sculpt release with this figure, the William Dafoe sculpt. Unfortunately, it is an unfinished product and something that they're waiting for the licensing approval for, so they don't have a clear shot of it. We only have the front shot of it blurred and then the side one. But the side one I think gives a real good look. from this shot, I think it looks pretty good. Now, the other shot that shows it face on blurry, I'll talk about that one later. But with this side one, it looks nice. I think that you can see the expression that they're going with, the menacing smile, which I think is a great expression. Everyone's fear, though, and everyone's biggest worry, I think, is if this thing's going to look like the last time they did a smiling head sculpt, which was Paul Rudd's Ant-Man for Ant-Man and the Wasp. That one turned out poorly, and it started the same way as this, where it wasn't shown, it was blurred out, and then just when it was released, the final product was just bad, and, people were just kind of stuck with it. So I think everyone's kind of concerned that the same thing will happen here, since this is the same, or similar style of sculpt. So we can only hope that they've learned from their mistakes with that figure, and that this face sculpt will be spot on, because I think it's very important to get a spot on William Dafoe head sculpt. But as you can see, the helmet is, of course, removable for the head sculpt that can be attached. Him holding it in his hand here, I don't see the mouth here. So hopefully they actually have a removable mouthpiece so that you can have the helmet as just a helmet. So you can pull off a pose like this of him looking at the helmet. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, overall, though, just a very slick-looking suit. Now the glider. So, of course, there's two versions of this figure. You can get the standard, which is just the figure, or the deluxe, which includes the glider. The only extra accessory, I believe, but one that is substantial in its mass. The glider is based on the look in No Way Home. So, if you didn't know this, and actually before this figure was shown, I didn't know this, but the design of the glider does change between the two movies. Narratively speaking, there's no reason for that. That should not be the case, but I think that they did just want to update it to give it a more modern aesthetic. So it was updated, but again, unless you're really looking for it, you don't even notice it between the films, luckily. Overall, though, I think the glider looks awesome. As you can see, he can pull off some really fantastic poses. Like, look at the articulation leg-wise there. It's really fantastic. All thanks to that spandex material is the underlying material that they chose to go with. Very pleased with that style of material that they chose. You do have some shots that have a bit of a tease of their next villain being Dr. Octopus, which is very exciting. I won't talk too much about this, but in the video where Goblin was first shown, the one I shot with the shot of him on the magazine, Dr. Octopus was also in that shot, so I spoke about him there. The one big difference here, though, is in that video or in that shot of him on the magazine, it very much looked like they went with the red armored tentacles, while this one is clearly not. So I'm not sure if they're going to have a version where that you can interchange them. They're going to have like a deluxe one that just includes those extra ones. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm very happy to see that there's going to be some sort of way to get Dr. Octopus without the red detailing on his arms. Looking for a really good shot of the glider here. Like, there you go, that's pretty good. So as you can see, the glider does look very nice. The detailing in it is pretty extreme, and it does have a lot of texture and details, more so than the original film. It, has a little bit more of a complex design. It does have some articulated features as well. Let me pull that up specifically. So here you go. You have some articulated sections. So as you can see, the pistons at the base do actually function. So you can raise it up like that, have the middle section come down, have these be up. You can get them in a very high-pitched format, so it really thins it down, or you can have it just completely spread and be as wide as possible. So that's nice. Obviously, it had that function in the film, so it's nice that it replicates that here. You can do more when it comes to posing, and like depending on how you have him posed and how you have his body shift, you can adjust this to compensate for that. And just for practicality and display, depending on kind of what your space is, you can adjust it that way too. If you need it to have him like a little shorter to fit in your display, you can have it more spread out like this. If you need a little bit more room on the left and right, you can have it more pitched up like this. So that's quite nice. I do kind of like that for those purposes specifically. Overall, looking cool. Going over the accessories he comes with. He's pretty light on accessories, to be honest. I would have liked some more. So Obviously, this is the version with the deluxe. The only difference with the deluxe is the glider itself, but it, of course, a big kind of addition. The actual figure himself is just your standard figure. You have a very standard set of hands. You have some gripping hands. You have some hands for holding the pumpkin bombs. You have a couple fists. You have a standard base, which it has two different flight poles, one for the glider and one for the figure. And then you get 3 pumpkin bombs, all of which are exactly the same, just the kind of unignited one. And then you have a Norman Osborn head sculpt, which again, haven't been fully seen. The shot of it here, the straight on shot, I don't think looks good. It's obviously completely blurred out, but it doesn't, like, I don't get the silhouette of William Dafoe here. So again, really hoping that this thing's on point, or as good as it can be when it is fully revealed. Hopefully they reveal it too before the actual release of the figure. So he comes with the bare minimum, I think. I definitely think that there could have been some more accessories. First of all, it would have been very easy to make this figure be kind of a double purpose one, where you can include just a very small portion of his hoodie, because his hoodie is basically just a hoodie without the sleeves, so it's a very small amount of material, and then some pants that are very shredded, and then just extra hands that are just human hands, ungloved. And then with just those extra accessories, you can absolutely make this the Goblin in his costume from when he fights Peter and Aunt May in the middle of the film. So that would have been a really easy way to make this kind of almost like a deluxe figure, or a true deluxe figure, and not just the glider being the deluxe portion. Also, now this isn't accurate to No Way Home, so I understand why they didn't include it, but I know that some people would have really liked his kind of trident spear that he had in the Raimi film in 2002. That would have been a cool accessory, especially if you're going to use this guy as the for your Raimi display and not quite your MCU display. And then the other accessories that I personally would really love, and that I'm very disappointed you don't get, are some attachment pieces for the glider. I would have really loved it if you could actually put a pumpkin bomb here, or they have a pumpkin bomb maybe attached to a smoke accessory that you can plug in here, so it looks like it's shooting it up and he's about to catch it. That would be amazing. How about a fire accessory for the back engine to attach onto, so it looks like he's shooting forward? They have some sculpted missiles down here. I'd love an interchangeable piece that has some smoke attached with the missile, so you can have it like firing, similar to the effect pieces that they gave the Boba Fett figure that was just released. Those accessories would really, create a scene in your display. So very disappointed that he doesn't come with those. They seem very naturally like they should come with. Same thing with the pumpkin bombs. I think there should have been more pumpkin bombs. Maybe one that doesn't have the light on, so it's, hadn't had its button pressed yet. I think that would have been really cool. And lastly, I would have loved a pumpkin bomb that was mid-explosion. So, you have like a portion of it bust open with flames and kind of the paneling flying out from it. That would have been a really cool, just small little accessory that you could have used quite nicely. I think that would have been a lot of fun. Going over the details for the pre-order. So this thing is up on pre-order. As you can see, Sideshow has it here. The 2 different versions, starting off with just the standard collector edition. It's just the regular figure himself, $285, which I do think is quite pricey. I would have liked to see that be a little bit less, maybe $265, $270. The deluxe version is $90 more expensive for the glider. Now the glider, with its practical pieces, the working pistons, the multiple light up effects as well, and just the sheer size of it, $90 for the glider I actually think is perfectly fine. So I'm okay with it being $90 more expensive than the standard. However, I think the standard is slightly overpriced, so overall would have liked to see this be a little bit less too, to compensate for that. And then the last kind of accessory that I would have liked to see from this guy is an exclusive accessory, being the helmet that's been smashed, because obviously it does get smashed in the film, and there's a very close-up shot on it being smashed and falling to the ground. Would have been really cool to get like that smash accessory, or that smash helmet as an exclusive accessory. That would have been neat. The arrival or expected ship date is between April and June of 2023. Quite a bit away. about a year and a quarter away, which is, substantial. I like it when Hot Toys are about a year out, so anything higher than that's a little disappointing. However, it's certainly not on the higher end of what I've seen before, so it's a release date that's okay. But there you go. That's my thoughts on this new figure from Spider-Man No Way Home from Hot Toys, being the Green Goblin in his kind of original Sam Raimi suit. Very excited to see what other villains they do going forward. Obviously, I think it's clear Dr. Octopus is going to be the next one. But hopefully we get Electro, and although I'm not holding my breath, I'd love a Sandman and Lizard too, but most of all, I want a new version of Green Goblin that's more representative of his kind of No Way Home exclusive look. So there you go, that's my thoughts on this figure. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.